Hey guys, David from DJ Productions, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make an Egyptian style candy mask. Let me start off by saying that I got this idea off of Pinterest and that no, this isn't an actual Egyptian beading technique, but the overall shape and design of the mask is influenced by Egyptian art. This is an intermediate level candy tutorial. So let's take a look at the design I used. I couldn't find a pre-made pattern or template for this, so I had to use a pattern making tool to try and recreate the masks I saw on Pinterest. I made minor adjustments to the original mask design to fit my face. And you may have to do the same if your face is shorter, longer, thinner, and or wider than mine. The tool I use can be found on KandiPatterns.com, and no, I'm not getting paid to say that. I truly do love using their pattern making tool. This pattern is 37 columns wide at the widest rows, 15 rows tall at the tallest columns, and 12 rows tall at the center column. With all kinds of masks, your starting point is going to be within the longest complete rows. I like to call this area the spine region, because when you start stringing the beads together, you're going to create a spine-like structure. For this mask, the spine region is very small and exists within these 3 rows. Also, when you start your first row, you're going to string a pattern of 2 beads, then 1, then 2, then 1, and so on. I'll show you how to do that later on in this video though, so don't worry. Once you finish the spine or base of the mask, also known as your first row, you work outwards on both ends to finish it. Masks are generally an odd number across, and that's because of the center column. This column shouldn't be the tallest, at least for this mask, but the top bead should touch the tip of your nose and the bottom bead should touch right below or the tip of your chin. It may take a few tries to try and figure out what the right number of rows is for your face size. From the center column, beads start getting higher, lower, and away from the center. These beads are going to connect to each other directly to give the mask more shape. Now that I've gone over the layout of the mask design, let's move on to actually putting it together. For this tutorial, you're going to need pony beads, fishing line, some sort of elastic cord, and a pair of scissors. So what I did was lay out my first row, my spine, and then I laid out the row right above and right below the spine. This is going to help me keep track of where I am on my pattern, and having more than just the first row done gives the mask more stability so it doesn't morph later on in the beading process. What you want to do next is cut out some fishing line, approximately double the length of your arm span. I can tell you right off the bat, this isn't going to be enough to finish the mask with one piece of fishing line, but it will get you pretty far, and you can always add fishing line later. Next, what you want to do is take both ends of the fishing line and fold the piece of line in half. Don't cut it, just fold it in half. Now you want to string your first row. Like I said before, you're going to string a pattern of 2 beads, then 1, then 2, then 1, and so on. Take what would be your top bead in your first row and string it through your selected top half of the fishing line. And then string the bottom bead through the bottom half of the fishing line. Then you want to string the next single bead through both the top and the bottom half of the fishing line. Make sure you keep track of which half is for your top beads and which half is for your bottom beads. Your design won't come out right if you don't keep track of the ends. But again, string the top bead through the top, the bottom bead through the bottom, and string a single bead through both. And do this until you reach the end of the row. When you reach the end, tie the 2 ends of fishing line together and string the top half of line through the bottom bead and the bottom half of line through the top bead. Make sure you're not pulling too tight on the fishing line though. You still want the mask to be slightly flexible so it fits to your face better. Then string the next row of beads like you would a regular cup. I like to string a couple on top, a couple on bottom, and go back and forth because it helps the spine stay straight and not completely lopsided, while at the same time it adds stability to the mask. As you saw previously, the row immediately above where I started is missing beads. When you get to these points, don't string the fishing line into the next available bead. Instead, feed the fishing line through a previously strung bead on the row below and then back up to the next available bead. Then you can continue with your pattern. You have to do this whenever you're missing beads and not connecting them across, like the center beads I was talking about earlier. This is, so far, the only way to hide string within a mask. Once you finish the next rows, you can either choose to work upwards, downwards, either way both sides have to get done. I decided to go downwards since there was a lot more to do. Because of the nature of odd column number masks, moving from row to row will be simple on one end, usually your starting end, and a little trickier on the opposite end. When you reach the trickier end, what you want to do is string the last bead of the row, then string the fishing line through the fishing line loop created by the last row, and then back into the last bead. Trust me, it's easier to watch what I do than to try to understand what I said. But what this does is act as a placeholder so that way you can tightly add the next row of beads. For this pattern and any mask shape that changes the number of columns, the trickier side will switch. For example, the trickier side was on the golden side. Later, the trickier side will be on the rainbow side. And when the mask starts to taper, you know, when it loses a bead each row, you won't have to worry about this fishing line loop scenario. Also, to help me keep track of where I am on the pattern, I pre-laid out the rest of the rows leading to the first row of the lower connecting bead. Basically, I just put together the center row of the mask before moving on to the top and bottom connecting beads. When I get to the connecting beads, instead of stringing through beads strung on the rows below, I just string the fishing line straight across. On the top, I try to get the beads as close as possible, and I also try pulling the fishing line a little tighter so that way the mask retains its shape. For the bottom, I string across as well, but the beads aren't as close. That's because I want my chin to fit nicely into it. What I do is hold the mask to my face and tighten the pull accordingly. You really want your mask to fit your face nicely. Once your mask feels comfortable, tie it off. We're almost done. What you want to do next is add the straps. You'd want to use elastic for this, not fishing line. This portion is very trial and error, so I can't give you an exact number of how many beads you need or how long your elastic should be because everyone's face size is different. Because the elastic I'm using is thinner, I cut pieces double the size of what I need, and I double the amount of elastic I string through my beads. After you tie everything off, go ahead and snip any excess, and there you have it, your very own Egyptian style mask. I hope this tutorial was helpful and that I answered any questions you might have had. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, feel free to contact me and I'll try to answer them to the best of my abilities. If you like this video and want to see more, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It's free and YouTube will notify you when I upload a new video. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr at DJBoy3000. That's DJB0Y3000. This is David from DJ Productions. Stay perfect.